anyways, it has been a little while since I haven't even checked. I think it's been at least, 3 months since an upload? Probably. I have gone back to listen to a handful of them. Obviously, we have been a little bit absent, but when do I begin?
5 months ago.
5 days.
Was our last video.
5 months was our last video. Holy shnikes. Damn, that's crazy.
That's
okay.
A hot minute.
Well, sorry about that, guys. Life happens. Life has happened. So, around the time that we started the podcast, I was getting really heavily into, investing and, buying and collecting Dragon Ball stuff. Mainly Dragon Ball cards, because I found out there was a new Dragon Ball. When Dragon Ball Super came back, they came out with all these trading cards, and I knew nothing of this. I've always been a Dragon Ball fan, and I've always known it's had some interesting ideologies behind it. It's never bothered me, but I just really was well, whatever. But then I got into some of the figurines and started getting into mangas, and then My Hero Academia. And there's a couple stores locally to where I live, and go in there and I would go absolutely banana sandwiches. I dropped $300-400 on mangas, on trading cards, and on these figurines. And now in my head I had a vision, because I was building another YouTube channel, and it was going to be all about opening Dragon Ball Z trading cards and going through and ripping packs, and and so I was well, I want to have a nice backdrop. I don't want it to look like I live in a third world country and I'm just opening up a card under a fan, in a prison cell. So I was just I had an idea in my head about what I wanted it to look like, so that way it was appealing to people when they watched the video. And so in order to do that, I had to spend a lot of money to build that. But in the process of building it, and there was nothing wrong with that in my mind, in that aspect of having a vision, having a goal, and going out and getting it and obtaining it. But I kind of got, it's I slipped down this, or I tripped and I fell down this hole, this rabbit hole, if you will. And what started out as something harmless, as just buying some cards here and there or whatever, it ended up becoming an idol to me. And I didn't even know it. In the process, there's this fine line in anything that you're going to do in life, of this is the moment where you've gone too far type of line. And I far surpassed that line by the time I realized. But I thought, oh, no, I have this under control. I have this handled. It's no big deal, So I have bought, I don't know, I spent probably $2,000 on booster boxes, cards, searching for these secret rares and god rares, and dude, that's playing the lottery and hoping to win a small jackpot.
Yep.
Right? And it's but investing you're actually gonna get it. So I would say that was at the beginning of the year, and so we were doing the podcast, and then we were playing games, hanging out, having fun, and then I was also working on this other channel, and eventually it got to the point where I put a pause on everything and focused all my efforts and all my attention into this YouTube channel, and in regards to just the content is opening packs, so I had to keep opening packs to have content. And I mean, the channel grew pretty good. I mean, it took literally from the beginning of the year until last month, I got 300 subscribers. And I had average, 70 to 100 views, or 30 to 80 views per video. I was doing pretty good. It was building, it was tracking. And I was building a community and getting to know other people and supporting them, and you know what I mean? And so doing all the things you're supposed to do when you're building a business. But my problem is that this became the only thing I cared about, and it was the most important thing in my life. And for me personally, it was unhealthy. It was unhealthy because every day of my life, I was thinking about, okay, this is the card I want to get. Let me buy this card. Let me trade. Let me do wheel and deal, do these things. So I So I kind of got, like, I hit a roadblock in, like, April. And I kind of got, like, shooken and woken up a little bit to the reality of, man, like, this is crazy. I looked at my closet, and I had just so many cardboard boxes full of cards. I mean, I was coming to work giving you cards, like, every day.
Like,
and you're like,
not like one or two cards.
No,
he was giving me, like, stacks of just cards.
Stacks of cards. Like, hey, bro.
I had so many cards in my room, it was ridiculous. I had to just start giving them to my nephews and my kids and stuff.
Right. It was like Kitrick found the holy grail for all his nephews.
Yeah, pretty much.
They were like, dude, this is sick, right?
Yeah, when I showed it to them, they were freaking out.
And in all respects, the card looks amazing. If you ever, and I'll probably put a picture up to show you an idea of what some of these cards look like. But it's a completely different realm than Pokemon or Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or any of the other animes that make cards. Dragon Ball has got the corner market on, like, sexy cards. Like, shiny cardboard is actually pretty awesome.
Well, see, I think the reason why they stood out so much was because a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards, they have, like, the little box with the picture.
Right.
And it's like the little description.
It's like a window.
Yeah, it's like the little descriptive stuff on the bottom. With the Dragon Ball Z cards, it was the full card.
The whole card.
Was the whole picture. It doesn't cut anything off.
The entire card, everything.
And they're always, all of them are so shiny.
And they're nuts. Yeah, they just look, and like the ones that are really nice, so you have different categories of them. But even the rares, like the reverse hollows, looked badass. Then you had like these special rares and the super rares. Those looked even more insane. And then you had secret rares. You're like, good God, what the hell is that? That looks futuristic, like it's popping off the card. Excuse me, that's terrible. This is Coca-Cola's fault. Apologize for that. But what ended up happening was I got this, like, realization, like, bro, you're in deep, man. Like, I started looking around my room, and my closet was full of cards, full of figurines, full of mangas, full of all kinds of stuff, and then posters and tapestry, and I started, it was getting crazy. But if you're in your mind and you're like, oh, well, this is all for my channel, this is for my business, then when you look at it that way, it's like, oh, okay, no problem. Except for when 23 hours out of the day, this is my focus.
Yeah.
I mean, I would spend hours on Instagram networking and talking to other people and making deals and trying to find ways to get people to come see my channel and let me go support them. I mean, I was spending honestly, I was probably spending $1,500 to $2,000 a month on shiny cardboard, essentially. Right, and I didn't even realize it, right? Because, anyways, so we'll get into that in a minute. So I'm spending all this money, which is a stupid amount of money, on cardboard that shines sometimes. So I kind of got this, like, realization, like, bro, this is too much. You can't keep doing this. So what I made the decision was, okay, well, I'm not going to buy any more mangas. I'm not going to buy any more figurines, and I'm not even going to buy booster boxes. I'm only going to go after the PSA graded cards or the Beckett graded cards. Those are the only cards I'm going to go after, because in my mind it was nice. That's awesome.
No, keep going.
Yeah, so
I don't like being
I know, right? Feel you. So in my mind I was like, okay, this is a good idea, because, to sell a non-graded card, I mean, what am I going to make, $1, $2, maybe? After shipping, probably nothing. Honestly, it's dumb.
You'd be paying them to take them.
Yeah, basically, I'm paying you to buy the card from me, right? Yeah. So I was like, that's dumb, but a graded card, PSA Beckett, and all these other companies, you can send a card in and get them graded. And so it had a stack, probably 100, maybe 200 cards, that were all special, super, and secret rares. And I was like, yo, I'm going to send all these into PSA and get them graded, because they're going to go from the worth of like $20 to like $500, right? Or whatever. So my focus shifted. I still kept spending money. I still kept making it. And again, the point for me is that this became an idol. It became the only thing in my life I gave a damn about. Only thing I cared about was the only thing I focused on. And personally, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because you shouldn't have an idol like that. I mean, it wasn't even just an idol. It was like becoming my god. And this is how scary it was, is because I would start to buy these graded cards. And the first 2 I bought were pretty cool. And I was like, oh, it's awesome. They just sat in my drawer. And in my head, I was like, man, all they do is sit in my drawer. What's the point in having them? So, you know, my next thought was, instead of, well, you don't want to just get rid of them and stop doing this. This is dumb and childish. My next thought, instead of that, was, I need more graded cards, and then I need to buy holders and put them all over my room so I can look at them every day. That was my next logical option. So that's what I did. Over the course of 3 months, I've spent the same amount of money I was spending on all these random cards, if not more. I probably spent, in 3 months, I probably spent close to like 3 or 4 grand on graded cards. And I got them at good deals, so I knew I could flip them. So like I worked with a few different people that I had made connections with and like bought their cards. And so they gave me a good price and all that stuff. So I was like, cool, if I ever sell this, I'm going to make my money back and some. And that was for me, it was kind of like I was tricking myself. But it's, you know, I was listening to the voices in my head essentially. And what they were saying were, oh no, we don't want you to stop this. We're just going to change your focus and make it look like a business thing and make it look, you know, whatever. And yeah, you can make that money and you can do all that stuff, but it's super, super dangerous and really expensive. At the end of the day, like, God forbid if my house ever got broken into and that stuff got stolen, I would have lost everything. You can't insure that stuff, you know. But anyway, so.
Or something caught on fire.
Or something caught on fire. It's all going up in flames.
Yeah.
I would cry. Anyway, so so then we come up to June. It's like the first weekend of June. A sister of mine sends me a video and goes, yo, you should check this video out. And it's a video of this kid who threw away $30,000 worth of Pokemon collection because as he started to learn about Pokemon, he found out that it was like really demonic actually, and like witchcraft and all kinds of other stuff that he wasn't a fan of. Now if that's your thing, okay, more power to you. So but he felt very convicted, and after much thought, meditation and prayer about it, was like, I gotta get rid of this stuff. And it affected me because I knew along the way, I was like, what am I doing? Like there were moments in my life where I was like, isn't this for kids? Isn't this for like young people? Like I am over 30 years old. Like I feel like this is not what I should be doing, spending my time, my money, and my energy on. But because it's so widely accepted in the world, especially the world of like YouTube and all this stuff, and the internet, it's like you see grown men that are way older than I am, than we are, yep. And they're doing the same things. But just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean it's okay, or you should do it, or you can do it. I mean, anyway, so it's per the individual. So, to wrap things up in a nice, pretty bow, Kidrick had mentioned multiple times, like, hey, dude, you're kind of getting a little crazy with this stuff.
Yep.
And I just wasn't listening. Yeah, so Kidrick was like, bro, you're getting a little ridiculous with this. And I think it was, he really started telling me when I brought him a booster box full of like ridiculous cards.
You brought me a booster box full of cards and then another little clear case full of more cards.
It was like, hey, man.
Was when I was like, you need to chill, chill out, dude. I was like, you're going a little too far with this.
Yeah, you're getting a little crazy with this, and I'm like, nah, man. These cards and all these cards, like all those cards are probably they're worth anywhere between $5 and $100 as they sit, as they are.
Yeah.
And I just gave them to him. I was like, here, man, these are extras, duplicates. These aren't the cards I want. These are the. I mean, I didn't have the eyes to see, and because I was so far in it, I'm like, no, this is it's okay, no big deal.
You didn't see, and that's what you always used to tell me too. You'd be like, oh, but it's cool, it's badass, it's this and that, and I was like, yes, it's cool, but dude, you're going a little too far with it. I was like, you kind of need to take a step back. I was like, save some money for a car, save some money for something else.
Yeah, pump the brakes, bro. I was like, that was the thing. I could have already had like 2 cars.
Yeah,
for sure, dude. Like,
hell yeah, you could.
For sure. No, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. So, first week of June, I watch this video and I get convicted. I also get inspired, and I'm like, okay, dude. And I do some research, and like I said, I mean, Dragon Ball. There's a lot of pretty valuable life lessons, and Dragon Ball's been a part of my life forever. But it doesn't mean it has to be a guiding principle in my life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I can enjoy Dragon Ball. I can enjoy the memories and the stories and anything moving forward, but it doesn't have to be the only thing in my world that matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, essentially what ended up happening is I thought about it for like a few days, and I just couldn't get it out of my head, couldn't shake, you know, like the feeling, this conviction I had, because it was like, you know, what the heck, dude? Like, why do I feel this way? And the biggest part is like, as a Christian man, or just a Christian human being, I understand that you're not supposed to have any other gods or nothing should take the place of Jesus. Nothing takes the place of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you believe Jesus is your God, then he's first place. And I was definitely not giving Jesus first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was giving Dragon Ball first place, and then Dragon Ball pretty much first place. That was it.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball was everything. There was nothing else. So I end up it's crazy, but this and I'm sharing all this because this is why Fukkaru took a backseat. You know, amongst other things, but mainly this is the main reason is I got so wrapped up in all this stuff. I got, like, it was insane. Like, I remember one day I looked down at the clock. It was like 3 in the afternoon, and the next time I checked the time, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had spent the entire time either on YouTube editing videos or just networking or talking and wheeling and dealing on Instagram for 12 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
Then I came up for a breath of air and some water and was like, holy crap, dude. No wonder this is all I think about. It's all I'm doing.
Yep.
You know, it was nuts. So I basically pulled my head out of my ass, and with the help of some others, and I knew like what I was instructed when I prayed about it and really thought about it. What came back to me was, you have to destroy all this stuff. You have to get rid of it, and you have to take it out of your home. You can't just throw it away in the trash can. You can't sell it, and you can't give it away. You have to destroy it and get rid of it. And that was really hard, but I took videos of everything while I was doing it, and I sent it to like one of my guy friends that I met while doing the Dragon Ball stuff. And the night before, I was just making a deal with him. I was just making this crazy deal where I was going to give him some of my 20-plus-year-old Dragon Ball cards for like a handful of like other cards that we were making deals. And the next morning, after the whole day goes through, I come home from work, I'm like, oh, I can't sleep anymore, because the thing is like, it's just like I woke up. It was like I was in this dream. I was in this like fantasy world or wherever I was. I took the red pill and I woke up. You know what I mean? I was like, holy crap, dude. Like, this and my first thought was, bro, and I had some nice friggin' cards. Like, really nice graded cards, but this is also how I knew I had a problem.
He had cards, he had mangas, he had figures, he had posters.
This is how I knew I had a serious issue, and I didn't want to accept it in the moment. That night before all this happened, I set up a stand in my desk or my workspace where I was recording, and I had all my cards up there, and I just sat there for like 2 hours looking at the cards.
Jesus.
Like, loving the cards. You know, I mean, I wasn't like jerking off or anything, but I was like, might as well have been. I mean, I was like looking at the cards, and they're just so cool. They're so shiny. They're so cool. Like, and then, yeah, bro, just so, I mean, fucked up. It's fucked up, honestly. It's just messed up. And I just slipped off the deep end into that. Now, thank God it wasn't cocaine. You know, I would have been dead. But
yeah, yeah, you would have.
You know what I mean? Like, but nonetheless, woke up from this and was like, I got to get rid of all this stuff. And my first thought was like, I'm just gonna give it away, or I'm gonna sell it. I could sell all this. I could make some good. I could probably turn $7,000 to $10,000 collection into 15, 20 grand.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be easy, but I'd be able to do it. I could do it within a month for sure. I can make that shit happen. And when I started thinking that way, this voice came in my head and said, no, because if you try to do that, you are going to get stuck deeper in the pit that you're already in.
Pretty much. Because I'm sure, because then you'll start to think about, like, oh, well, I just made a profit off this other stuff, so let me buy more and sell more of that stuff.
100%.
And then
that is the slippery slope.
So instead of selling just cards, you're selling cards, mangas, figures, posters.
Right. In the amount of time, it's like my whole revelation was get out now.
Yeah.
You got to get it out now, because it's a moment of clarity. You're out of it. I actually was out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the fog, it was gone, and I could see really what was happening and who I was becoming and where I was going. And I was like, this is terrifying, actually. Terrifying. So I did. I threw it all away. I had like 7 big black trash bags, heavy duty, like construction trash bags that I took and threw away. And I remember, and I showed you the video of me. I have this little clip of me holding the cards, and I'm like, see, for me, this is the real test. All this other stuff is cool. All the other stuff I like, but the thing that had my soul really were these stupid graded cards. And I like started dumping them in the trash one at a time. But the craziest thing about that was I promise you, like, as they were falling out of my hand going into the trash, I could feel like myself be able to breathe easier. Like there was a weight on me.
Easier?
Breathe easier? Yeah.
Breathe easier?
Yeah, that's lack of teeth in my mouth. Well, be able to like breathe easier. And so I share this testimony, if you will. Anybody that's listening, maybe you have something in your life that you don't think really is that big of a deal. It's just kind of something you enjoy here and there. But it actually has a much bigger hold on you than you realize. And it can be anything. I mean, we don't have to get crazy. We're not talking about porn, although porn is another example. That's something that usually holds people captive for years. Ruins your life. But it doesn't matter what it is. Check what you're spending your time and energy on, because where you spend your time, where you spend your money, that's what you value. And I look, the internet, it's scary because the more I see people doing certain stuff, the more it seems like it's innocent. And it's like, oh, it's common, it's okay. And it's like, but we need to check everything. You need to, like, check and make sure, like, there's a balance. And that's what Kidrick was telling me about, too. He's like, bro, there's a balance to everything, man. Like, you just, like, slipped and fell down the hole, and I don't know.
It's like we're going up the stairs and you stepped and you went tumbling down.
Right.
And instead of catching yourself, you just let yourself
just
continue
like,
to fall.
This feels fantastic. It's like a massage. Yeah, 100%. So that is the main reason I truly believe that, like, Fukkaru and everything else in my life took a back seat, because I just went full bonkers. Mainly why we didn't record at all. And I mean,